Today, I'm diving into 5 space myths that you probably still believe in, and I'm challenging myself to debunk them one by one. You know, it's amazing how many misconceptions are still circulating about space. Despite the incredible progress we've made in space exploration, many of us still cling to outdated ideas and misinformation. But today, we're going to tackle some of the most common space myths head-on, and I'm excited to share the truth with you. The challenge of misinformation in space science is a serious one. When we accept myths as facts, we risk distorting our understanding of the universe and its many mysteries. It's only by questioning and verifying the information we receive that we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity and beauty of space. Misinformation can have real consequences too. It can lead to misunderstandings about the risks and challenges of space travel, or the potential benefits of space exploration. By examining these myths, we can gain a clearer understanding of the universe and our place within it. The misinformation can also perpetuate harmful stereotypes and reinforce outdated attitudes about who can or should be involved in space exploration. By exploring these myths, we can work to create a more inclusive and accurate understanding of space science, one that reflects the diversity and complexity of the universe itself. So let's get started. Over the next few minutes, we'll be exploring 5 space myths that continue to captivate and confuse us. From the idea that the Great Wall of China is visible from space to the notion that astronauts are weightless in space, we'll examine each myth in turn, using evidence and explanations to debunk them once and for all. Myth number 1 is the idea that the moon is shrinking. This myth likely originated from the fact that the moon is indeed moving away from the Earth at a rate of about 3.8 centimeters per year. However, this is not because the moon is actually shrinking, but rather because the moon's orbit is gradually increasing in size. The reason for this is due to the tidal interactions between the Earth and the moon, where the Earth's oceans are slowly transferring their angular momentum to the moon. This process has been going on for billions of years and will continue for billions more. Myth number 2 is the idea that there's no gravity in space. While it's true that astronauts in the International Space Station appear to be floating, this is not because there's no gravity, but rather because they're in a state of continuous free fall around the Earth. The ISS orbits the Earth at an incredible 27,000 kilometers per hour, which creates a state of weightlessness for the astronauts on board. However, there's still gravity at play. It's just much weaker than the gravity we experience on the surface of the Earth. Myth number 3 is the idea that the Great Wall of China is visible from space. This myth likely originated from a 1938 book by a German writer named Willy Ley, who claimed that the wall was visible from the moon. However, this is simply not true. The Great Wall is only about 30 feet wide and blends in with the Earth's surface from space. In reality, it's only visible from low Earth orbit with the aid of magnification. Myth number 4 is the idea that astronauts are weightless in space because they're in a vacuum. While it's true that space is a vacuum, this doesn't mean that there's no gravity. As I mentioned earlier, the ISS is in a state of continuous freefall around the Earth, which creates the illusion of weightlessness. However, the astronauts on board are still subject to the weak gravitational forces of the Earth and other celestial bodies. Myth number 5 is the idea that Pluto is no longer a planet. While it's true that Pluto was reclassified as a dwarf planet in 2006 by the International Astronomical Union, this doesn't mean that it's not still a planet. In fact, many astronomers continue to argue that Pluto should be considered a planet, and there's still ongoing debate about how to define a planet. What's most surprising about Pluto, however, is that it has 5 moons of its own, including Charon, Nix, Hydra, Kerberos, and Styx. One of the most surprising myths we've explored today is the idea that the moon is shrinking. It's such a fascinating concept, but it's also completely untrue. The truth is that the moon is actually moving away from us at an incredible rate, and it's been doing so for billions of years. This process is both mind-boggling and beautiful, and it's a great reminder of the awe-inspiring complexity of our universe. As we've seen today, these 5 space myths have been debunked one by one, and in doing so, we've gained a deeper appreciation for the truth about our universe. By challenging these misconceptions, we can gain a clearer understanding of the wonders that await us in space. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the world of space myths. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which myth surprised you the most? And what's your favorite space fact? And if you're interested in exploring more space myths, be sure to check out my next video.